if I can't get the speakers on. So we've got Jason Wright today. He's going to talk about some GMB stuff. We've got Terry Samuels. He's going to talk about SEO spring training just for a minute. And then, of course, Ted, but I'm not seeing them. So, there's Jason. Jason, did you get an invite to broadcast, or how did that work?
No, so what happened, it just switched over to you broadcasting, and then I had to re-engage the video and mic.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's what I had to do too.
So, Clint, that's what you have to do.
Now we know.
Clint, if you can see me. Hey, there
he is.
All right, so Ted is syncing the broadcast to YouTube, so this streams. But so Terry's with us. It's Terry Samuels. We've talked about spring training. Clint is speaking at it. I'm speaking at it. Ted is speaking at it. The lineup is excellent. And Terry is the man behind the entire conference. I'm putting on the card. Terry, do you want to talk about spring training just for a second, like what people can expect? Maybe where?
Sure. Yeah, so this is our second year. Last year we did it. We had about 50 people. We only had about 2.5 months last year to put it together, so it was really put together quick. This year we actually had more time to do it. But basically it's just a no pitch, no recording conference. The speakers, the presenters, I should say, really put out a lot of good information, good takeaway information. The great thing about last year, which I'm kind of expecting this year, is the speakers actually got to hang out with everybody. So the conference wasn't so large that you kind of, hey, where'd that guy go? I'd love to talk to him type of person or type of situation, and not be able to find them. So we have it's great speakers. I like putting speakers together that people typically might not have seen before, along with the people that people love to see again and again, like obviously you three. But yeah, we got some, obviously. But yeah, so we've got, like I said, we put this thing together mainly because I was tired of going to conferences and really not kind of walking away feeling I got my money's worth. So when we put this together last year, like I said, it was quick and just incredible, as small as it was. And this year we started looking around. We actually had 94 people request to speak, which is crazy. And so I actually had a committee help me this year. And so we kind of broke it down to about 20 speakers, and we're still kind of working out the semantics. I think we're going to do some lunch and learns this time. And then of course the masterminds Friday before, the Monday after, and Saturday night networking event that we're going to cover. And yeah, it's just going to be a blast. It's Tempe, Arizona, the first week in April. You kind of can't beat it.
Yeah, the weather is unbeatable. That's probably why there's so many people that are like, hey, I want in.
Exactly.
Get out of whatever horrible weather they're in.
For sure. So, but yeah, no, it's going to be exciting. I'm so looking forward to, especially the people that are coming. I mean, we got people, Elias is coming from Greece. Let me see. Oh gosh, we got people coming from Ireland. I can't remember who else, but it's pretty cool that people were going to do that. Diggity was going to come, but Matt's baby is going to be born around that same time. So obviously that's a halfway decent excuse, I guess.
Where are his priorities?
Yeah, exactly. It's like, really? Come on, man. So you can make it back if they call.
Terry, something that you mentioned, that it's a no pitch conference. So,
yes.
So people aren't selling their software. They're not getting on stage and buy this or buy that.
Exactly. Now we are going to have some sponsors, and we are going to have people outside the conference doors that are going to be able to do stuff. But yeah, once the conference door is shut, no pitching from the stage, no pitching from, obviously the networking events, you can talk about your product, your services. Like we have a financial planner guy coming, and the reason I invited him is he is incredible for entrepreneur type stuff. So he's not necessarily there to gain a lot of insight, but he will be there outside the doors just in case anybody wants to know how to diversify their income, especially if they're at a level like we've all started and now you're getting ready to move to the next level. It's time to look and see how you can just kind of put more money in your pocket for now and in the future. So But yeah, no pitch is one of the big things, and obviously the no recording. Everybody else.
I was asked because it's no pitch, and people tend to share more in that situation. It's also not recorded.
Exactly, it's also not recorded. So, like I said, I have a couple speakers right now that are wanting themselves recorded, and I don't have a problem if they record themselves, but we're not going to be like selling videos or doing anything like that, live streaming or nothing like that. So we really want people to open up, share what's working, share what's not working. My thing last year was kind of how I got out of a negative situation. So, we want to kind of share those opportunities with the people that come to the conference.
Very cool. Very cool.
So,
well, thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. I appreciate you talking about the conference. We live in Phoenix, so we see each other from time to time, but we'll be seeing you soon as well.
Exactly. No, it's thank you for having me on. I'm available for anybody that wants to chat or talk or, but yeah, I'm inviting everybody to the conference. I guarantee you won't regret it. That's all I can guarantee. So.
Right on. Well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ted, are we good technologically speaking?
I'm not sure that we are. Last night when we did this, it streamed straight to the channel and you could preview it. And right now I'm not seeing it on YouTube. So we may have to upload the video afterwards so people can see it.
Okay. No problem.
All right. With that, let me see if I can share my screen. Oh, screen sharing got canceled for some reason.
You love new technology.
Yeah, well, I made a terrible mistake of upgrading to Catalina last night. And so now it wants me to quit everything to grant permissions.
I warned you about that.
All right, so we're gonna skip the boilerplate today and just go straight to the presentation because I don't want to quit everything.
That sounds fine. One thing that we always do is Clint SEO this week. What can people expect for the program this week?
This week we looked at 5 different news stories. Some fairly interesting stuff. There's one in there about site audits that was good, and then Ted and I actually went over a viewer's website and did a brief audit of it. Nothing crazy, but it was a good one. It was a good show. I liked it.
The live audit stuff is always great. Just kind of hear insights, see what other people see. It's nice.
Yeah, it's fun getting to do that again. And plus it gets your own brain juices going when you're looking at other people's stuff and then thinking, oh, maybe I did that to my site. You know what I mean? So
sure. Yeah. Exactly. Awesome. Well, so today we have a special guest. We have Jason Wright on my screen. He is in the top right corner with the name Jason Wright written above him. Jason is a local SEO expert. He has a lot of credentials. I know that he will talk about those. He is also putting on a local SEO course for IMG, which is awesome. And I believe that launched yesterday, today. There's like a pre-launch special going on. But Jason, you're here to talk about some GMB stuff for 2020. Is that right?
Yeah, I wanted to run through some of the updates that we've seen come out, give everybody a little bit idea of maybe how they could leverage it, what that impact is as far as the positions and maps that we're seeing, as well as talk a little bit about kind of what we've got in the course towards the end.
Excellent. I think you've got some slides. So I think in the bottom right-hand corner, you can click turn on screen share. And I think I don't know where the screen share is going to go if there's enough room.
All right.
And for those watching, you can make that screen larger. So you can click to enhance by clicking the arrows that shoot out.
Yeah. So you want me to just run with it?
Yeah, go.
All right. So just before we get into it, give everybody a little bit of an understanding about kind of my background and what I've done and able to achieve success and, some of the things that clients that we've worked with that we put into play. a lot of these strategies that we see work. So my background's based on, I'm an agency owner and founder of Marketing by Data, which aligns great with SEO Fight Club and testing, because data is really the foundation of everything that we use to generate the results that we get in testing and watching, everybody test, including these guys, with 20 years experience, starting with opening up a personal training business while in college, building a website, and then stuffing keywords on that website. And from there, it's just been an evolution of going into working in business intelligence with Disney, supporting their virtual worlds and casual games, where it was supporting the marketing teams and generating what those results look like. And, it was really from that initial analytics background I have, also working in finance and background, of being able to make things qualitative from that which was said to be quantitative, or qualitative, or make it quantitative versus qualitative. Companies that I've been lucky enough to work for at Disney, the business intelligence, so then went over to MySpace because I got tired of people not executing things correctly, or they would take one thing from what you told them to do out of the thousand. And I was able to work as a marketing manager at MySpace for the largest rebrand, in which we were trying to figure out, essentially, it was kind of the beginning of gaming people into being more engaged. So one of the things that we did, and it's found all over now, it's consistent, is how do we align people with their likes? How do we put them in front of content that is going to get them to be more engaged? And one of the things that we did was we would take profiles based on certain keywords within them, and then we would then send emails to certain curators, and we watched engagement shoot up, right? So like as you're going essentially through your news feed or on your phone, and the information that you're getting, it's kind of one of the beginnings of aligning people with their wants, to where now it's almost a complete shift where they get all that they want and they get nothing of the opposite side. From that, those are the largest ones. That Playboy did paid media, so it was a lot of big ad buys, and then working with the local businesses such as 800 No Cuffs, which is one of the largest criminal defense firms in California, running their marketing and sales, and working as a consultant with them, and trying to game all these different locations that they had around through getting different Google My Businesses, doing that at more of a mass scale, and working with other agencies as well too, to see what they were doing right versus wrong. And then essentially splitting from them, and a lot of the attorneys that I was consulting, or when consulting with, that were working with them, that were of counsel, became my clients. So they became competitors to the 800 No Cuffs. So that's really kind of what helped spawn a lot of the business, and to which now we've got a bunch of legal clients that were gaming in the system to go one, but across the nation to get into top of those map packs. And it's also great insight because there's a lot of competition there. So when we run a lot of these different tests to see how they perform, everything that we kind of put into this course is the foundation of what we do to get, regardless of how difficult the niche is, like this is what's going to happen pretty much every time. We've also had some good success with bail bonds, in that being a super tough competitive niche, and getting those into position. And we've worked with a lot of other different types of local businesses, in which we've had some great success that we've been able to put in this course, as well as some I'll show here that we can take advantage of. Now, everything I'm going to show you here, it may not necessarily move the needle directly as far as within the Google My Business, but what it does is it gives people a way to engage with the platform, because there's more signals than I think a lot of the instructors I hear talk about. Is that there's natural signals that they get for directions. So if you have an affiliate site and you're getting up there, but nobody's asking for directions, or the site that we use in this course, which is an orthodontist site, we're still in the top position. I think we're number 2 for orthodontist in West Hills, but we're not getting the same signals that these other ones would, as if they're a natural business, such as driving directions, which is one of the key components missing. But everything else, we're getting calls, we're getting clicks to the site. So just take that into account as you're building out for your businesses.
So I'm sorry, your test site is getting calls, is what you're saying?
Yeah, it's got calls. I've got call tracking on it, and I think we're getting like 30 to 50 calls a month, which for if I can log it, I can show you. For a fake orthodontist site's pretty good.
Not too shabby.
But what's interesting is people don't like to leave messages on for dental. I've noticed they want to talk to someone right away. So something to take into account. Now, one thing that has come up, and everyone can use this for their agency as well too, and it's more of a, especially on mobile, you'll find a request a quote in which it essentially links. If you turn on messaging, you can get and start receiving chats with people, and this is something that I've been able to get business from. Plus, a lot of our clients, salons, I've noticed especially jump with engagement of people asking about females in their 20s on their phone, just going, "Hey, I want to come in. How much for a hair appointment? How much to get it styled? How much to get it dyed?" I'm watching them back and forth go on it. Seeing that be very successful there, because we want that type of engagement to help us stay at the top. Because if other businesses, essentially, it's kind of like, if you're looking, competitors are doing it and people aren't going to the next listing, I've noticed it is pushing it. It's pushing it up. One thing you can do too, add a video. Now, even though I haven't seen this really impact at all the listing, what it does, it creates another point of engagement for people, in which if you have a brand that has a good video that they could put on there, it does give people the ability, as they're looking at photos, to select video, and they can get another experience. Because our goal with these businesses is to provide a user at any point to have a great experience with the brand. So the more we can get that experience, the more that the upsell. So maybe it's not as direct as watching the listing move up, but it could be more of an indirect factor of getting users who are trying to go through the sales funnel of making a decision to go and contact this place. Another good thing too is that offer post is something that we've been seeing hit and miss success. So we have a medical aesthetics company. We put these posts up. It's going crazy. They're getting more offers. They're getting a ton of views on these posts, because in general, I had kind of given up on posts probably mid last year, just let it kind of sit in the background. But it's becoming, I've noticed, just kind of relative based on the niche, and finding, one, it could be the right offer, but two, it seems to be like in medical aesthetics, the posts are working well for the couple of our clients that are doing it. And being able to put something out there, because the more essential, as they do a brand search, if they see something right away without going to the site, kind of like, this may be the exit overlay that you have as they go, but you have it right there. They click on that. The potential, I think I was reading for them as being more likely to at least engage, is 30 to 50% more if they go through that channel. And I don't have the source of that. I'm just trying to think off the top of my head. Another good thing, and I see this a lot, especially with salons, barber shops, is being able to schedule and book your appointment. And it's through third-party software like Booksy's one of them, in which you click on that. The things I don't like about the schedulers, it's good that they're getting engagement from the Google My Business, but when they go to the site and they click the schedule from the site, it takes them to that third party. And I like to try and make sure everything's captured on the site, so that engagement's found within Google Analytics, but also an algorithm. Even though they're smarter now, I still like to make it as easy as possible for when people go to take action and complete and convert, that in some form it's able to be captured through analytics or actions on the site, so an algorithm can say, oh, it went through these multiple of steps. The one thing you talk about, messaging, turning that on, I've seen some really good results. There's people out there, you think about the different touch points you have within the ability to contact a business, and different people like to communicate in different ways. So giving them the option in each of these ways, and I've gotten messages at 11 o'clock at night, and as business owners, you'll know that you'll be up late and be like, oh, let me check out this software app. And then if you're actually engaging with someone at that time, but you got to make sure they understand that that's only in that instance. If otherwise you don't have any time to yourself, but you're going to be able to get in front of them right away in that moment, and you don't have to worry about the kind of the golden minute of making sure that you contact someone within a minute, because otherwise your conversion rates will diminish starts at 1 minute, and then it's completely gone after 5 minutes of a contact, such as a web form, a call, or a message. Popular Times was also something that was introduced. Now, the interesting thing you can do about this is that within social, so if you're running Facebook ads, you can find optimal times that people are contacting the business or going to the business. So around this time, you could start leading up into it and get an idea of how to start gaming the days, especially. Let's say that Mondays is a big day that people will go to a barbershop or a salon, start driving ads, those local ads in that area. So we can leverage the Google My Business information to impact other channels that we're looking to drive traffic from. Another thing that had come out is the claiming your short name URL. One of the things that we always had to do was figure out how to get the client the URL that they needed in order to review the business. We want to send out reviews. Where do we send them? And it was like, here's the link to your Google My Business, the long URL. And now we have the ability to send them this short branded name URL in which clients can go there and leave reviews, or they can go out and put it on their business cards or whatever it may be that they want to place this. So it's much easier than using a link shortener and going directly to the page. The other good thing that if you guys are doing this for your clients is the Know This Place. And what this does, it helps if you're a local guide, you'll notice is that there'll be information such as those hours of, does it have wheelchair access? Does it have these different variables? This is a place that serves tapas. Is it a place is it a short wait? Is it a casual place? And what it'll help is as people are searching and it's identifying, as these algorithms are identifying what type of place this is, the more information it has on the type of place it is, the better it can serve to a qualified audience. So you want to make sure that you're engaging with this as local guides are to get that information in there to help give the full picture of the type of business. So when a search algorithm's trying to present this to its particular audience, that it's going to be able to put you in front of the right people. Another cool thing, it's got the questions and answers that's been coming up. So users will go, and I use this to throw some keywords in there, which a user will be like, hey, my tooth's chipped. Are you able to fix it right away? And then you put something like, yes, our emergency, we have an emergency dentist on standby just for people who chip their teeth. So I try and make it a very direct and very well explained, like, this is who we are, this is what we do, this is how we can help you, contact us right away, which can in turn, I've seen these are, as with reviews, having all this within there helps the algorithms understand better of what's going on. Now, one thing, this is the last slide, one thing that's going on is that we're going to start seeing more local service ads come into play. And what that's doing, it's pushing down the Google My Business. Now, these are, and I'm not seeing it in all industries yet. It still seems like it's slowly moving out. Plumbers, especially plumbers, I'm seeing all over the place, are ones that are the primarily being pushed out because Google can go and look at the credentials and give them the ability to verify. So in order to be a verified plumber, the insurance, you've got your certificates plus I think there's a couple other things they need as well too, that needs proof in order to be served here. So if you're a handyman plumber, you don't have liability insurance and you're just working basically on a bunch of different things and you can go in and crank on some pipes, you're not going to be able to get in that service ad. So it's helping people make decisions through the service ads before getting to the maps, where the maps used to have the star ratings that people would look at. And that's going to have an impact on our Google My Businesses as it starts rolling out into different industries that they're targeting. So that's a little bit about the new updates for the Google My Business. Kyle, did we want to talk a little bit about the course?
Yeah, absolutely. I have a quick question though about the about those updates. Obviously, a lot of them don't take a lot of time to do, right? I mean,
no.
But you do want to kind of measure impact on if they were effective or not, so you kind of see what's going on. Which one would you focus on first, or which one would you go for first? Do you have like a kind of maybe this might be the one to start with, or these two or three, maybe something like that?
Yeah, so we would start with the offer. One reason we start with the offer is because you could put a date on there. So you can essentially have it last 364 days without having to update a post every couple of weeks.
Okay.
And that'll start giving you some information if that section is going to start working for you. The next is turning on messaging, and I think these two are the big ones, because with messaging we'll start seeing, are we getting messages? Are we able to instantly engage with the customer who's looking for help? Now, you have to be careful with that, and you have to be able to monitor it, because if your client's not actively engaged with responding, people go on to the next thing. So if their first touch point is going to be that message, you have to make sure that they're going to be able to engage with it.
Yeah, I can see that royally backfiring with any of my local clients.
But one thing that has worked, it's been on here for a while, and people may not be aware, is the 360 tour, where you can have a Google verified photographer come in and do a 360 tour of the business office, and it's not that expensive. I think it's around $450. The last one we had done, in which they'll come there, they'll do 360 shots of the office to give virtual tour of it. And what happens is that when you're on maps, as you come up on the street address you can actually go into the office and look around through 360 to get an idea of the look and feel of it. So if your clients are have things staged appropriately, it's a good tool, which I've also noticed helped them go up a couple positions. I think it was 3 positions for highly competitive attorney. That after we did that from a verified, they're also a verified local. What do you call it? A verified local map. They were level 10. They went in there, they did that, and I watched it jump 2, and we're like, oh wow, like let's keep doing this.
So are there different strategies when you do those 360 virtual tours? Like if you're a coffee shop, do you want to make sure there isn't a long line in the photo? And if you're a nightclub, you want to make sure it's a hopping, crowded nightclub.
Yeah. There's the staging. There's definitely staging going involved, right? You want to give people the perception. Like on a coffee shop, you may want it to be a little busy to show that, okay, people are coming here and it's not a dead zone and people don't like coffee. But maybe you have people sitting down that aren't necessarily in line working on something, to show that you got people working on Wi-Fi and it's an open place for people to come and get work done, socialize. But yeah, you definitely want to stage it. You know, like a Botox place wants to make sure that they have it very clean. A hair salon wants to make sure that they got the chairs out and it looks like a comfortable, cool place, depending on the type of salon it is.
Yeah, I bet there's a whole cottage industry of in real life CRO that you could put into these things.
Oh yeah. Yeah, and you know, it's not necessarily a new thing, but I don't think anyone's really got into it. So it'd be an interesting company if someone developed staging for Google 360.
I think we just found our new business idea, Ted.
There it is.
Yeah, I love inventing industries.
Yeah.
Jason, go ahead and tell us about the course. So it's a local SEO course. And my understanding is that it's a bit over the shoulder because you are actually building out the site. Is that right?
The site's been built out, but what I'm doing is I'm walking people through essentially how to go from the point of purchasing a domain name on a registrar to doing the research on your competitors, to being able to optimize your Google My Map or Google My Business, your Bing Places, your Apple Maps, to the perfect on page, and leveraging tools like the pop tool, for example, in this case, to doing the off page. So if you were someone who had never done SEO before, this could be an over the shoulder walkthrough for you how to do this. If you're a more advanced SEO, you could tighten up your skill set by going and finding those little golden nuggets of, we just need to make this little tweak or do this little thing, or we didn't think of doing our silos this way. So I try to provide everything that someone would need in order to be successful, even as a business owner, of this is how we should be doing things. And this is kind of the foundation based on best practices of data developed over the years and tools that we can use to get the most business and revenue for our local business.
Yeah, I agree with that. With what you said, that it's definitely a beginner can step in and do this. And up to intermediate. But then I also picked up a couple things that we've added to our processes in our agency. So there's still value there as well. It's always nice to see how somebody does it. Like how somebody's actually doing their SEO. Because there's so many different ways to be successful in SEO, and there's so many ways and kind of different strategies you can have. And so to watch you do it was a lot of fun. Because I do that. Oh, that's interesting.
It's everyone has kind of their own style. Like in ours, the way the agency's set up, and I know you guys are too, is that what we did is that we have a sauna. We created a project in Asana that goes through pretty much every one of these steps. And then for each of these, so that way we could use our VAs, is that we record videos. So that way, regardless who comes in here, we have this process that they can pick up right away. So try to take it and make it as easy as possible for someone to come in to follow these exact steps and watch over the shoulder videos and be able to execute on that.
Excellent. Very cool.
And you get a lot of the style that we use. It's interesting because there was a competitor. So we were doing a pitch, and the company, when I was looking at their proposal, I was lucky enough for the client to show me the proposal for this company. They were charging $9,000, and what they were doing was they were doing a blog post a week of 500 words or more, and that was their SEO package.
To get those kind of clients.
Well, that's the thing. I say, like, that was so motivating. I'm like, geez, well, these guys aren't doing anything. And I was looking at what they were doing. They weren't even optimizing the page. They were just creating content. So we're calling it SEO and content. And I was like, man, you guys are getting gamed. But it worked.
Very, very cool. So
so what I do, here's a little tip for some of the agencies, is I'll find those people and I'll go after their clients, because usually they like to promote it or put a link in the footer back to their site. So I'll go find them, and then I'll do a over-the-shoulder video for that particular client that they have, and then I'll bring them into me, or I'll try and get them to come into us.
Yeah, right on. Well, I don't think any questions came in, and we had a bit of a live stream issue, so we don't have any questions from YouTube. I don't know if any of the panelists have a question or not.
Well, we will upload a replay of this to the YouTube channel, so our YouTube audience will still see it. It just won't be a live event. It'll be the replay. So what would be the biggest things that people should avoid doing in 2020?
Biggest things to avoid doing. Usually it's what people do that mess it up. So for instance, is that they don't put any information. One of the things I'd be cautious of, in that I was testing driving, link building to a GMB. We pushed GSA to it. We pushed a bunch of Web 2.0s to it. We found that if we keyword stuffed the GMB listing, it seemed to have a negative impact. So that would be one of the biggest things, is don't keyword stuff a URL back to your GMB.
Okay. Yeah, I created a GMB, and one of my competitors didn't like it. And the following month, I would get a phone call a week from Google. Have you encountered anything like that? Is there negative SEO in GMBs?
Oh, yeah. So in the bail bonds industry, all of a sudden, one of the competitors created chaos because they were flagging GMBs, and they were doing a lot of, I'm not sure exactly what they were doing because I couldn't see on the backlink profile, but they were creating a lot of, I think they were trying to game it through CTR, but they did a mass amount. It created this to where everyone within it were flagging each other, and we were getting calls, we were getting listings suspended, in which we had to go and show them, or it just happened on one, we had to show them the listing because they were so close together. It was saying the proximity of the offices were too close, even though it was the difference of like Danville and Pleasanton, which they're close cities, but they're separate cities. So I have seen in some of these higher niches, neg SEO going on, especially of other people flagging Google My Businesses.
And there's a lot of debate this past year about whether or not national businesses should claim their GMBs. Where do you stand on that debate?
They should claim it. There's no reason not.
So you haven't.
I haven't. Every business we get, I make sure that they have their GMB, because I look at it as a way that they can continue to control the knowledge panel.
Yeah, the argument I specifically heard earlier this year was that if you're a national business and you claim a GMB, it somehow limits your traffic to that region. I tried to replicate that result with my own national brand, and I wasn't able to. I didn't see any negative impact.
I have affiliate sites that are local nationals, like certain emergency type things, in which I create the main office, and all over the country, it doesn't impact.
Yeah.
So
we got a question from Derek. I notice you use quite a long business name title. What are you finding that works well or best practices?
Keyword stuffing like you're not supposed to do. And I've been lucky enough not to have anything not get suspended. But we've had listings suspended that weren't keyword stuff because of flagging. But what we do is we just go back to the brand and it fixes it, and then we wait a while and try a different variation.
Yeah, when I did my GMB for my test, I keyword stuffed the title, and I noticed somebody went in and changed it for me. Is that a common occurrence?
Google will go with, so it could be people going in and saying, hey, this is the business name, use this. Google will then go to update it, but then you have to go and you change it back. So I do have clients where it keeps getting changed. And it could be either Google saying, hey, we think it's, this specific brand name, or it's people going in and, trying to update the business information, thinking they're helping.
Yeah.
Or not helping.
Yeah, I looked at the nature of the change, and I got a vibe that it was somebody trying to help my listing, not hurt my listing. So I just let it go. But I assume it can go both ways.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, especially if you've got competitors who don't like you going up in position. Like we've had the ones that we did where we put emojis in it, it got flagged. We took the emoji out, went back to the brand, waited a month, the keyword stuffed without the emoji, and it was fine. No one flagged it.
Yeah, it's interesting that emojis are even allowed in the system. I know that AdWords is pretty locked down on that, and Google used to be a lot more locked down in search on that.
Yeah. There was a minute where I was able to get emojis into titles, page titles. But now it just comes up as a blank space.
Interesting. I noticed in search that there were ways of over-encoding the emojis to get around the emoji filters. So certain emojis, if you know how to over-encode them, you can get them through.
Yeah. It creates more work that seems to stick for a minute. It's just too short.
It doesn't pass manual review.
Or that now. Yeah, usually for titles, I like to do maybe a voted number one in the
In Facebook, there's this concept of edginess where if you tend to make your listings and ads in Facebook really edgy, you get better engagement. Do those types of things work in GMB?
I haven't seen it work, but also I haven't tested it that much, if at all. I'm trying to think of an example where I did.
Okay, just a question that popped in my mind. So if you're here live in Remo and you have questions, you can enter them in the enter your question box. We'll wait a bit, see if there are a few more questions. Here's one. Okay. When keyword stuffing, are you using service city or city service or just keyword?
It depends. Like we'll test a couple variations. Usually, we kind of gotten to the point where even in the example that we use for the course, we have the city in there. A lot of times now we're finding that we're not putting the city in there because it's coming up based on proximity to search. So it's not necessarily that we need to have it in there. But what we do try and figure out is, are we getting enough from the way that we're structuring it? And if we put the city in there, will we get more? And usually putting the city in there, there's less exact match cert volume. So we like to get, if there's multiple services, we like to get more than one service in there. So we'll usually, now we're finding we're keeping the city out of it.
And does using sentiment keywords and business name affect the rankings? So top and best being probably the leaders?
It can, and I'd say for that, a lot of times for those, I look at Pop and
Okay.
Quora to see what they say. I've been taking a lot of the guesswork out of it with these tools. I've been seeing a lot of good success with the tools that you guys have, in which they really have become a staple of our business. In looking at that, especially with Quora being able to say, hey, add a question into your title, or add, I forgot how you phrase it, top or best.
James asks, do DBA, I assume that's doing business as, and ABNs, I'm not sure what that stands for, make it through an audit by Google for GMB listing titles? According to the guidelines, it seems like it could.
They can, yeah. So what, you're also not supposed to keyword stuff your GMB. So yeah, they'll get through. If there's a manual review, that's where they catch it. But your DBA should be fine.
Apparently ABN stands for Assumed Business Name. Thank you. I wasn't aware of that acronym.
Yeah. We haven't had any issues with that. There is a difference between what we do and what they say.
Have you ever tested using EXIF data in photos uploaded to GMBs?
Yeah, that was kind of the big thing for a while, is make sure to have that in there. Now, if you go to look at your GMB, the EXIF data, if you try and view it, you're not able to see it, but it doesn't mean that it's necessarily not there, because they're able to see the full code of it. So we haven't stopped using it because the initial test that we had was so strong. And the reason that it's still a part of the program and we really haven't had a need to test it is because since we're already uploading it and we're using these images across the web, we like, it's on the site. It's the same image. So we're just using that same image and uploading it at different places. So it's already within there. So as far as us, doing a specific test right now, we haven't found a need to do it.
Have you been able to track the ranking impact of consistent GMB posting? If so, enough impact that you think offering it as a service would drive client ROI?
Overall, I haven't seen much impact. What I have seen from it is, like on the offers, I've seen higher engagement and views, but I haven't seen it impact rankings. Because in order to see the posts, a lot of times is that you have to do a branded search. Unless you come up as the knowledge panel for that keyword, which happens sometimes.
And this next question is for Terry. Several people want to know, what is the deal with the picture behind you?
Oh my gosh, people. Scooby-Doo.
All right, that explains a lot.
No, I've had this thing. I actually got it from when I was flipping houses. It was in one of the houses I repossessed, and it was in a bedroom, and it was like the only good thing out of the whole freaking house. So I kept it.
Well, that explains the photo. Thank you for that. Another question for Jason. I'd love to see a test on driving directions with an actual vehicle making it from point A to the business listing. This is very hard to game, and I believe it increases rankings. Any thoughts?
I agree, because I noticed that businesses that, especially within my affiliate sites, who have local driving directions that people are able to go to as a storefront, they will at times outperform us. As far as being able to test it, it becomes difficult, because if you do it, you're one person and you need multiple people to do it. So unless you have ability to hire a team of people to go through these driving directions to see the impact, it makes for a difficult test.
I've thought about just having all the employees do it. You know, all the people that work there, they all type in the address and log in in Chrome,
if it was like
and
IKEA,
go on their phone.
We've also tested this. We call it the full cycle.
Yeah.
So you get up in the morning, you search for whatever you want to do, dentistry, and hit driving directions, drive there, arrive there, take a picture, do a 360 video or something, and then leave that as part of the review when you leave. And we have seen that be super powerful, and we have done it with all the employees. So yeah, as long as the employees aren't coming from the same house, you're pretty good. But we don't do it a lot just because it's hard for people to get people to do it, unless they're employees, obviously. But
So do service area listings rank better or worse than ones with the address showing?
I think it depends on the niche. So, and it's also based on proximity of search. So if it's a business location that people need to go to, the one with the location that they go to versus service area will do better. But in general, if you're, say, I've noticed this for attorneys, is that it doesn't matter if it's a service area or if they have a location.
What are the current tracking options for GMB rankings for area or radius around the business? There's a few services out there that do that, right?
There is. I'm trying to think of what they are, because we don't really use those.
In our agency, we use Local Falcon. There's Local Viking.
Yeah.
There's another one. But they're all about. They all look about the same. They put that grid around. You can move the grid, and this is the area that I wanted to test from, and then they check from all those areas.
Yeah, we use Local Viking in our agency too.
And how do you determine which keywords to use in the GMB? Do you add location word as well?
No. So first, we work working with the business. We want to identify what their primary revenue driver is, or what they want to get business for, and then we do the research to find how people are searching, and then that's what we'll put into the GMB.
Okay, well, that's our list of questions for today. I want to thank you for coming on. Somebody else mentioned GeoMappy. Isn't that Jordan's service?
Oh, I think you're right. I think you're right.
So yeah, thank you for coming out. Do you have any final thoughts or shares or anything you want to say to the audience? Do you have any other speaking engagements coming up?
Coming up, we're planning on some for the summer and end of next year. We haven't locked it down yet, but we're looking into it. One of them is that I'm looking at is potentially looking into Vistage and being one of their keynote speakers, in which we're in talks right now. So hopefully that'll go through. But otherwise, if you're looking for a course that can really, get some golden nuggets, feel free to come through and check it out and let us know what you think.
If people have follow-up questions later, can they contact you on IMG, or how would you like them to reach you?
IMG is fine. Yeah, there's the groups in there. They can go in and then they can, mention me, and then I'll be able to get back to them.
Excellent. Thank you.
All right, guys.
So with that, we will probably end the broadcast here, but you're all welcome to stay around and network and ask questions. Hopefully, Jason can hang out for a bit and say hello. But we'll see. Everybody has their own schedules and timelines here. But everyone's welcome to hang out. We'll keep the networking open as long as people are up for doing it within reason. But we can extend the networking if people are having a good time with it. So we'll see what happens. With that, I'll hand it over to Kyle to end the broadcast.
Sounds good. Oh, real quick, we had the two winners that are meeting us in Phoenix next week. Mike Carson and Tyler Kraus. I should ask you, Tyler, how you pronounce your last name. But they won. We're flying them out. It's going to be a great time.
Oh, this event is going to be so epic. It's going to be so cool. And if you've never hung out with me and Kyle at a conference before, we basically share all our best secrets. We're terrible at secrets. You get a couple drinks into us, and we're telling you the forbidden SEO gems. So congratulations, guys. Whenever we have events, whenever we're doing stuff, please enter, please attend. Kyle, weren't there a few extra tickets we had, or did those sell out?
No, if people do want them, we have tickets available for Friday as well, which will be hanging out. So they can ping me directly, and then I'll put them in touch with how to do that.
And it's a we've got like the VIP setup. What's the setup there like?
Oh, so it's we have the clubhouse tickets. So it's behind the 18th green. It's in the clubhouse. The prime thing I was actually talking about Tyler about this is that there's shade. So even though it's January, February in Phoenix, the sun will still destroy you. And actually having a place to go inside is prime. But it's also we get breakfast and a lunch and open bar the whole time.
Nice.
That ain't bad. But yeah. Oh, there's a question. Do we have a special on the course? Yes, it's in pre-launch right now, and it is at a discounted price during pre-launch. I don't know what the price is. Jason, do you?
$297. Should I put the URL in the chat?
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, throw it in the general chat.
Yeah, and we'll add it to the YouTube video description as well.
Cool. All right. Well, with that, I'll see you guys. See you guys at the tables.
Yeah, see you at the tables.
All right.